Hi there. Threw me off so much.
Yeah. Was he talking to us?
Maybe.
That was definitely Klaus.
We have not taken it yet.
Oh.
Okay, when you do, could you please report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
It's still recording. You got the whole thing.
Hi there. I am a bachelor's student at Skagit Valley College. We're out here on Lake Shannon, and we're going to take some measurements. So just behind us over this way, we've got the Lower Baker Dam, and we are right in front of it. So this is the deepest part of the lake here. And first thing we're going to do is take a measurement of the how much light can penetrate in the water. To do that, we're going to use this fancy device here, developed by Mr. Secchi himself. I'll put his full name up now. But it's just a plastic disc with a black and white pattern on it. It's a grid in this case. Sometimes I've seen like a sunburst kind of effect. But all we're going to do is just throw this overboard and sort of measure how far down it goes before we can't see it anymore. And that will give us an idea of how light penetrates the water, how far down it'll go. So here we go. It's literally just a disc with a weight on it, and it's attached to a rope with some measurements. In this case, it's every 1 meter. So nothing more to say. Just scoot over to the side here. Okay. Now this is an oligotrophic lake, which means it's normally pretty clear, but today it's actually pretty cloudy, and you know, it disappears right at the 1 meter mark. I'm going to do that one more time just to be sure. Sort of unnecessary, but it is sort of strange. It's hard to believe myself. Yeah, right around the 1 meter mark, it disappears on us. So that's how we know. I don't know if the camera caught that, but that's okay. So yeah, light is only penetrating about 1 meter down. That gives us an idea of like how far like phytoplankton can live. You know, phytoplankton absorbs sunlight, converts it into food. So now that we've got that, we're going to take some notes and we'll be back. All right, so now we've recorded our Secchi depth and all that. So next thing we're going to do is take a measurement of the amount of oxygen that's dissolved in the water. Now, it might be a common misconception that fish breathe water, and while that's sort of true, they actually breathe the same oxygen we breathe. It's just dissolved in the water. It's the same molecule and everything. So anyway, that's what we're going to be measuring now. We've got this fancy DO meter, DO for dissolved oxygen. And we're just going to throw it over the side, take measurements of it at different depths. We're going to measure the temperature too. That will also tell us some things. And yeah, I guess once we get all that, we'll be back. Okay, guys, we just got done taking DO and temperature at these different depths. Here they are. Feel free to pause if you want to take a look at it, but we're moving on to the taking water samples and collecting those. We'll show you that. Okay, so now we've got all our samples of DO and temperature. So now we're going to take some water samples. We're going to collect them in these larger containers here. We've also got some smaller containers we're going to fill up. But we're going to start with the surface. So it's as simple as opening up our jug here, dropping it in, filling it up. I don't know if the camera caught that, but we're just going to do that another time with the surface. A couple more times with the surface, actually. We've got a duplicate we're going to do, just in case. And then we'll show you this fancy contraption for getting water samples deeper down. Now that's pretty cool. Okay, so now we're going to use this device to capture some water samples at different depths. First one we're going to do is 5 meters. Then we're going to do 10, 15, and 20. So how this works is these two wings on the side here, they will shut closed when we drop this weight down this string. So we're going to drop this overboard. The string will be taut. Once we're at our depth, this has markings on it so we can tell when that is. We'll drop the weight, it'll slide down the rope here and hit this spring-loaded trap on top. Once that spring-loaded trap hits, it's going to release these two pins, which will shut close these two doors, and we will have a sample of water 5 meters down. And then we will fill our little bottles with the sample, take it back to the lab, and test it out. Okay, so here we go. We're dropping it in. And we're going to drop this down 5 meters. So there's one. I don't know if the camera's picking up the black marks, but there's 2, 3, 4. Don't get my foot caught in that. And 5. I'm going to swish this around a little bit to make sure that the water that's in there, the water that we capture, is the water that's 5 meters down. You're laughing at me. I don't know. Okay, so now we've swished around a little bit, so the water that's in there should be at 5. Now we're going to drop this weight, and if you listen close, you might be able to hear it snap shut. It's pretty intense. Pull this up to 5 and drop in the weight. And there we go. So pull this up now. And here we have our 5 meter deep water sample. So like I said, we're going to fill up our jars, take it back to the lab. Okay, so we just got done taking our pH samples. We took some in-the-field samples of those water samples that we brought up. So now, last thing to do is to get what's called a vertical plankton tow. We're going to do a horizontal one as well, but we won't show that one on camera because we're going to be rowing back to shore. But basically, it's very similar. So the vertical plankton tow, we're going to drop this down 10 meters into the water, and we're just going to tow this back up, and we're going to catch a bunch of tiny little plankton critters in this net here. Then we're going to collect them down in this bottle, transfer them over into this bottle, and then back in the lab we will key them out, identify them, and get some good data out of it. So the same thing is happening for the horizontal tow, except in this case, so for the vertical tow, we're going 10 meters deep, getting an idea of the entire water column as we go to the surface. And the horizontal plankton tow, we're just going to be getting 10 meters of surface level plankton. So we should see some differences. Well, we might not. This is fall where the lake is sort of mixed pretty completely, so we may not see differences, but that's what we're looking for. So, and that'll be it. After this is just sort of the last cut here. So I guess let's get one more awesome shot of Lake Shannon. We've been here for a little while, but you know, it's been awesome. We've had this whole lake to ourselves, which is pretty dang cool. So anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I guess if I make another video, I'll see you next time.